So, yeah, like I've been telling you, there's 5 books that you should be reading right now as we get ready to go into the new decade. And, if you inbox me, I'm going to get that to you. But I got a story to tell you. Hey, this is Tony. Good to see you. And what I want to share with you today are 3 words, 3 small words. One has 2 syllables and the other 2 have 1 syllable. But if you take these 3 words and you take them to heart, I know, not believe, I know and believe it will change your life. Just a little background. In June of 2006, the only reason I know that date so well is because I wrote it in the back of this. In June of 2006, I went out to San Diego, and I went to go see a multi-day event by a guy by the name of Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within. And if you've ever been to one of those events, it's an incredible experience. You do a lot of things, you learn a lot. It's very much something that you get into and you just kind of lose yourself for 3 days as you work through things and get some new distinctions. And yes, if you're wondering, I did, you may have heard of this before because when you go to this event, you walk across the hot coals. They put these hot coals out in front and then you step over them with your bare feet and you walk across hot coals. Now you might be saying, Tony, did you really walk across hot coals? I walked across hot coals. I remember like it was yesterday, San Diego, California, right in front of the Oracle headquarters building. I walked across hot coals as a part of this event. So a number of things were shared at the event, and I could pretty much do a whole video series on just the distinctions I got from being at that event. But 3 words that he said from stage have stuck with me since 2006 and has informed so much of what I do. And those 3 words are this: success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. My mom used to always say, if anyone's ever done something before, God's no respecter of persons, you can do it too. But she also said, and she took it a step further, she said, if no one's ever done it before, you can still do it. So yes, I believe that if a person is focused, that there's many, many mighty things they can do. Also, I believe there's something to be said for getting the clues of someone who's done it. Getting those distinctions and making those happen in your life. I even go back to the Bible. My pastor is always talking about being a spiritual scientist. He says, don't just read the stories in the Bible, but actually look at why things happened the way they did. Dissect the stories. Success leaves clues. So when you look into those stories in the Bible and you find out why these things happen, there's lessons to be learned that you can apply to your life. Now, I learned that in church, and it applies everywhere. If you think of anything that you want to do in life, if you can find someone that you can model and you really immerse yourself in learning from that person, you can learn the clues and replicate their success. Now, you might be saying, Tony, how do you go about doing that? Well, one of the ways to do it is through books, and that's why one of the things I'm offering is if you inbox me and send me a private message, I will send you the top 5 books that you should be reading. Now, why do I do that? Because as I've mentioned before, the author is giving you their best stuff in that book. Now, I'm going to tell you how to plus that. I would tell you that once you found someone that you want to model, and I'm not saying you have to model their life totally. There may be someone that you want to model in the area of fitness. There may be a different person that you want to model in the area of business. There may be a whole different person that you want to model in the area of relationships. But my friend, we are blessed. We are blessed to live in a time that from our phones, let alone our computers, we can access so much information. We can access so many of the clues that have made someone successful. That's just a matter of us digging in And another technique that Tony Robbins talked about at that event, was the whole idea of immersion, meaning that you immerse yourself in the information from that source to the point where you really get inside of what they're thinking and you get inside of what made the difference for them. Now, books, like I said, are a great way to do it. Take a book, but then maybe if it's available, also get the audio version of it. Now, you might say, why would you do that? You get the audio version so that you can listen. You have to get the unabridged audible. But if you get the unabridged audible, which means they haven't taken anything out, and you're reading the book right there in your hand or in the palm of your phone or wherever you do your audible, or even a paper book if you can do it with that, kind of old school. But you do that as you're reading and you're listening to the words being spoken to you, you get into another level of immersion. It's amazing. If you've never done that before, I encourage you to try it. It will blow you away how much more you get out of the book. But it's not so cool. Again, we live in a day and age where you can get information through YouTube. You can get information from a lot of the streaming services. I just saw Brene Brown on Netflix. And I'd never even heard of her before. People have been talking about her and saying how great her Netflix special was. Well, I started watching her one day and I was like, okay, I'm starting to see this. Well, let's say you wanted to study Brene Brown. You could watch the Netflix special. You could probably find her TED Talk on YouTube. You could probably go to her website and get information, read her book. The point I'm making is that when you find someone whose success you want to emulate, success leaves clues. You can get that information and make it your own. Figure out distinctions that you can pull away from that information to bring it into your life towards your success. And I'm telling you, it's made a huge difference to be able to say, I am learning from this person. I want to replicate the success they had. There's a book called The Science of Getting Rich. And in that book, it talks about there's a certain way to do things to create the results you're looking for. A certain way. Well, if you get into their books, the audios, the videos of someone that you're looking to emulate in whatever part of life, you can find those things. This is why people look at game films, where they look at the competing team or they look at a boxer they're about to go up against. Because success in coming up against that boxer, there's clues. Because you're studying it. My friend, I encourage you to be a studier of success. We've defined success before as the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal or dream. Well, when someone's being successful, there's clues that you can take and use for yourself. Again, as we get ready to go into the new decade, there's 5 books that I want you to read. I want you to read these books, and if you can get the audio versions of them, and I believe each of the 5 does have an audio component, I encourage you not only to get the paper version, but also the audible version, and immerse yourself as I talked about. Get those books. Dig in. Get the clues. Because I want you to win next year. I want you to win this year. And not obviously, but frankly, some of the stuff that you'll read in these 5 books, you can start applying today. And you can start getting those results today. You don't have to wait till the new year. You can start implementing some of the things you're going to learn from these 5 books. And you're going to say, oh my goodness, things are getting better for me. It's not by accident that certain people win in life. It's by discipline, persistency, consistency, discipline, and focus. That's how they win. And what are they consistent and disciplined and focused on? They're consistent and disciplined and focused on those things that they have learned by digging into the clues of successful people. You can do it. I know you can. Inbox me. I'll see you those 5 books, and we will talk soon. Be blessed.